Clive Cussler's ghostwriters have written books about Sam and Remy Fargo, a husband and wife team of professional treasure hunters. The characters are one-dimensional and the writing is bland. Their hobby is to look for archaeological treasures, and then instead of stealing them to sell on the black market, they just turn them over to the government of whatever nation the stuff belongs to and not make a penny off it. Oh, how nice. But here's how they can afford to have such a extremely expensive hobby. When Remy and Sam had designed their house, they had just spent 6 years devoting all their time to building and running their company, which produced and sold the argon laser scanner that he had invented. This argon laser can identify minerals at a distance or something like that. They had been offered an astonishing sum for the company and its patents, and had made the sale. For the first time, not only could they afford to build a large and expensive house, they had the time and energy to devote to it. When it was finished, the house was 12,000 square feet on 4 floors, planted above Goldfish Point. That's Goldfish Point, La Jolla. The top floor held Sam and Remy's master suite, 2 bathrooms, 2 walk-in closets, a small kitchen, and a sitting room with a wall of windows that looked out on the ocean. The 3rd floor held 4 guest suites, the main living room, the main kitchen, and the dining room. They had decided to use the 2nd floor for a gym, an endless lap pool, a climbing wall, and a 1,000 square foot strip for Remy's fencing and Sam's judo. The only place for an office was the ground floor. It had open workspaces for Sam, Remy, Selma, and up to 4 researchers. There were more guest bedrooms, a lab, and a 14-foot-long saltwater aquarium with plants and animals from the California coast. The novel The Tombs talks about how their house was besieged and wrecked by evil henchmen. Anyway, I would imagine dozens of contractors worked to build that house for them, and then rebuild it after a siege from the bad guys caused extensive damage. These contractors would employ menial laborers. But maybe some of those menial laborers are too weak to work, yet they have bills to pay, so they force themselves to work. One has to ask, how can a landscaper who worked for Sam and Remy, or the guy who laid the carpet, or the guy who helped carry in the 14-foot saltwater aquarium and installed it, supposed to obtain the same riches from doing such a job as Sam and Remy possess? Well, all these menial laborers should get pissed off they are not rich like Sam and Remy off their menial labor, and should raid the house, pillaging the wealth, and smashing and destroying out of spite everything that Sam and Remy paid for. The aquarium should be shattered with a sledgehammer by the guy who helped install the toilets for the toilet installing contractor. After the aquarium is smashed and all the sea creatures spill out, and all the fishies start flopping in the air, suffocating, the pissed off menial laborers who can hardly scrape together mortgage payments every month, should stomp and dance atop of the dying fishies. A proletariat laborer should blurt at Sam and Remy, "This is for me getting shit on myself while installing your toilet and not getting to be rich like you afterward. This is for not sharing money with me." That's because with the price of their labor, what they get paid, they can hardly afford to make ends meet at the end of the month. Every decoration in the house should be smashed. The lab and its equipment should be smashed. Fires should be set to furniture. All out of spite that Sam and Remy are rich and the laborers are not. The laborer who hung the light fixtures should come in and smash those very light fixtures. Sam and Remy probably spent $1,000 just on 3 chandeliers, while the guy who is installing the light fixture can barely scrape together $1,000 in a single month to pay rent. Many of these laborers have already suffered foreclosure on the small houses they tried to buy. The guy who installed their countertops should grab a hammer and bash Remy Fargo in the head with it, repeatedly. "Bitch, bitch, bitch! Give me free money, bitch!" The guy who installed the cabinets in Sam and Remy Fargo's house should take a jigsaw and start carving up Sam Fargo's face with it, while he howls in pain, demanding free money from the rich person. "Gonna carve up your face, motherfucker! Gonna carve up your face for not giving free money! Stomp on the bitch's throat! Stomp on the bitch's throat! For not giving free money, so I don't have to work." Somehow the bottom of their 3rd floor swimming pool should be smashed out, so the entire pool spills out onto the bottom 2 floors of the house, damaging everything. Pour swimming pool chlorine into the fish aquarium with the living fish inside it. Flat-screen televisions that belonged to Sam and Remy should have been tossed inside the aquarium with the fish before the aquarium was shattered. Selma Vagina Rash should have been tied to a chair, and the menial laborer who helped put wall tiling in the bathrooms should have taken Remy's fencing sword and started lashing Selma Vagina Rash with the edge of it, splitting long bloody gashes across her old naked torso and breasts. "I will gash and gash the bitch until you open the safe and give free money. How is it that I work for people like Sam and Remy Fargo again and again, and yet I am not rich like them? You took a vacation to fucking Antarctica to find a frozen Viking ship, while I can't afford a shitbox car to drive to the woods to walk my dog." And then they fucking commit fury-fueled atrocities. Imagine the guy who installs toilets shows up and he demands, "How many fucking toilets do I have to install before I own a 1-story house? How many? I already installed 428 toilets, and I still don't own a 1-story house." And he is kicking Remy Fargo in the ribs, smashing her fucking ribs as he yells this. "Why can't it be 50 toilets? You install 50 toilets, and you get a house like this for installing 50 toilets." So yeah, you install 50 toilets and you get a house like this. That's how it should be. No more bullshit money that depreciates in value. And if it's impossible to buy a house after what you get paid for 50 toilet installations, I guess you just do what the workers who worked on Sam and Remy Fargo's house should have done. It's not that I have anything against rich people. It's just you got to go to where the resources are. This is also not really about promoting communism as a form of government or an economic system. This is about personal emotions and frustration and fury, where you just can't overcome your savage emotions. So you don't care if what you do is communism, and you don't care about the free market. You just take what's needed from wherever it happens to be, because you are frustrated, and you let the frustration out as violence. To buy a $300,000 house like this means you have to be getting paid $6,000 per toilet installation if you do 50 toilet installations. Who is going to pay a guy $6,000 to install a toilet? It means you are severely inflating the price of menial labor. But who cares? Emotions should matter more than the principles of capitalism and free market. Let emotions determine what your work is worth, rather than the market. If in such a conditions people like Sam and Remy will be scared to become rich, or will not see the incentive in inventing something, well, too bad. Because I am ruled by emotion, the only way I would not hate them, and the only way these menial laborers will not want to destroy their expensive belongings out of spite, is if Sam and Remy's living standard is reduced to the same level as the living standard of these menial laborers. Sam and Remy should also be forced to stay ahead of the foreclosure, or to scrape together for rent every month. They should have no money to travel anywhere, and especially not the physical energy, because their job should suck it all away, just so they can pay another month's rent and buy gas. Why didn't the laborers who worked to build the house of the family in Dean Kuntz's novel, Mr. Murder, storm that house and smash and pillage everything and exact Bolshevik violence on the family? The guy in the novel has a 2-story house, something that looks like this, all because he published some shitty horror novels about murder. Imagine you installed 100 cabinet jobs in houses like this, and you still not have a house of your own that's even a fraction of the size of this one, but this motherfucker was allowed to have such a riches of shitty murder mystery novels that program you to love the police state. I installed 100 cabinet jobs and still don't have a house like yours. Give me fucking free money, bitch. And you punch, 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 punch. I've been writing fucking James Grider novels, writing fucking James Grider novels, designed to program people to want to kill the police, and nothing, and nothing, and nothing for me. In Dean Kuntz's novel Lightning, some Electricians' helpers should have stormed the house, kicking Laura in the uterus while she is pregnant for making such a riches of some bullshit novel she wrote. I did 150 electrical wiring jobs and I still can't pay off a house or a car. Die, bitch. Sam and Remy Fargo have a private jet, so their vacationing can be made easier. Why didn't the laborers threaten to 9/11 their private jet into the house? I will 9/11 your private jet into your house. See how I'm using 9/11 like it's a fucking verb? There are some stupid college kids who decided to labor in the tech industry, hoping they will live like Sam and Remy by the time they are 30. And it didn't work out for some strange reason. They just had to keep working. Oh, now I'm 30 and I'm still not living like Sam and Remy. I was supposed to make money so I can vacation around and find treasure as a hobby. But now I'm just gonna get old. How am I going to make money like Sam and Remy so I can vacation all the time? Because then I'm going to be weak and old, and I can't do it if I keep working. And the reason the proletariat laborers would single out Sam and Remy for their wrath is for no other reason than they happened to cross paths with Sam and Remy. That's it. If it wasn't Sam and Remy and it was some other rich couple, then it would be that rich couple that would be getting killed and pillaged. That's all it is. Sam and Remy would get targeted by Bolshevik wrath simply because they happened to be underhand, simply because it's them who happened to hire these people. You go out and you kick a tree in rage, not because you hate that tree personally, but because it happens to be the nearest tree to your foot. So you are laboring in Sam and Remy's house, and you have a nervous Bolshevik breakdown, and they become the object of the wrath because they are there, and they are the closest to you. After this revolution, the proletariat will legalize harassment and death threats. The menial laborers who worked on Sam and Remy's extravagant house should have engaged in a campaign of harassment and psychological terror that will only be stopped in exchange for Sam and Remy doling out millions of dollars to the menial laborers and selling their private jet so they can dole out even more money. They would be bombarded with flyers, emails, letters, and social media content filled with terroristic threats and harassment until they give away all their money. Guys should be able to upload videos brandishing guns and knives at them, making throat-cutting gestures at them. Homeless people should have been getting paid to trespass on their property and to hang out in front of their property, taking a shit on their lawn, shouting threats, and engaging in vandalism, such as smashing an expensive bird bath that they might have on their front lawn. For example, somebody should have dumped bent nails on the street in front of their driveway, so if they drove out of their garage, their tires would get punctured. They would find flyers in the mail with crudely photoshopped images of them being murdered in various ways Mexican drug cartel style murdered, ISIS style murdered, unless they turn over free money, unless they pay some worker $50,000 for a job that's worth like $1,000. The coronavirus response is pushing the entire world into a Great Depression, so give free money. This would have driven Sam and Rami to become nervous wrecks, who must keep sleeping with one eye open, feel trapped in their house, where their hands can't stop shaking. Oh my God, look at this! They emailed me a photoshopped image of myself with my head getting cut off. Oh my God! People would say, no, you should be grateful that rich people exist, because without them, you wouldn't have had all these jobs. But the laborers said, why do I need to beg for a job when I can get so much more if I rob them rather than working for them?